Alright, hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed those advertisements and that lovely performance by Words with S, making words proud all over the country. And now we have a brand new contestant, Miss Cat Talks. Let's reveal some secrets. I pledge on the Hogwarts crest and all it stands for, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth with no disclaimers in this, the no disclaimer book tag. So, Ms. Cat Talks, why don't you tell us all a little bit about yourself? Hi! Oh, I thought it was going to be a cat that talked. So I'm Cat Talks, and this is the place where I talk all about books and writing, and this is the first time that I have competed. Isn't that just fascinating? Alrighty then, let's get to the questions. Oh. Okay. Everybody here is here for the tea, girl. So first we have a little something that I like to call what is your good and bad sides. And I just want to know what are some tropes that you hate in books that you like. Okay, so there is obvious ones like kill your gays that are just plain wrong, that I think everyone hates. Like, oh, there's a gay character but they can't possibly like fall in love and be happy ever after because they're gay. They have to like die during the plot. And I think that was one way that people used to include homosexuality and lesbians in their book and other LGBTQ+ members of the community, and then kind of like didn't know what to do with them, so they just killed them off. Or like they had a character that was going to die anyway, so that character became gay. And I'm glad that we're moving away from that trope now. I also really dislike the trope of the promiscuous bisexual and of the sorry, this is really distracting. And definitely the trope where the bisexual falls for, like, the bisexual wasn't really a bisexual, they were really straight and they were just experimenting. Like, no. They were bisexual. They're still bisexual when they're with a man. Or a woman. I also really hate in thrillers, I've discovered now, I really hate a twist ending that you couldn't possibly have seen coming, like you weren't given all of the information or all of the clues. That really annoys me. I think that if you're reading a thriller or a mystery, you want to try and figure it out, and there's a big part of like the reason that people enjoy that genre. So if there is a twist that you couldn't possibly have seen coming, then I hate that trope as well. Or again in thrillers, if the twist, or contemporaries, if the twist is the inclusion of some magical realism or magical element, I'm like, nah. Nah. Oh, and in contemporary, I hate when there's like a love, or it's like been a romance as part of the contemporary the whole way through the book, and then in the last 2 pages they're like, and then we broke up and I dated other people. Like, I was so invested. What is your problem? Alrighty, thank you so much for that. Now let's move on. So which authors do you think are overhyped? Show us a little bit of that bad side. Could I give this answer not about overrated authors but about overrated books? I wouldn't be the first. It's Monty Price actually did that first, so I think, no, you cannot do that. No. Are you sure? No. Mm-mm. Alrighty, then I guess the gloves are coming off. I really don't like any of the book franchises where there are just a bunch of ghostwriters writing under the same name. So for example, I mean, you don't know they're ghostwriters, but you can kind of tell, like they come out with a book every 3 months and it's the same formula every time. Even if they're not ghostwriters, they're very lazy writers, and you can kind of see the ending of the book coming, and I don't really like that. Having said that, there are specifically 2 authors that I just really dislike, and that is J.K. Rowling, especially her adult stuff, but just in general, I just don't think she's a good writer. I've said that before on this channel. Y'all can come for me if you want. And the second one is also in fantasy, and that is the Jim Butcher series, the Dresden Files. I really despise that book. Oh, no, and there's another one. There's the Name of the Wind guy. I hate his writing style. He's really slow. It's a self-insert, like, what's the word? Mary Sue. What's the other one? Anyway, whatever the male of a Mary Sue is. Roger Stew. Ah. Jim Butcher's coming at me. Those 3, I'm just like, the writing isn't good. The plots don't really grab me. I've left all of those series mid-book, I think. Jim Butcher in particular has so much like overt sexism in his first 5 novels that I'm amazed they sold at all. There is the tea. If you wanted sipping hot tea. Alrighty, now you've been on Booktube for a couple of months now. Let's say since the start of 2019, what are the least favorite books that you have read? I am going to give a disclaimer or a clarification. I'm not going to talk about any ARCs that I received or any self-published books here because I just don't think it's fair. They get so little publicity anyway that I don't want to be like, and also their book sucks, no one should read it. So ignoring those. Circe is definitely one of them. Why is this book so hype? Nothing happens. Literally nothing. The entire book. There's a hair in my eye. And then there was Daisy Jones and the Six, where again, nothing happened. And also, like, you were constantly on edge the whole time for something to happen, but nothing really happened. And the only pair that I like stood for broke up, so, Oh. And then Throne of Glass. Like, I know it's a popular series, like super popular, like everyone's read it, but I read the first book and I was just like, this is really bad. Link your favorite of Sarah J Maas books down below, or like in that genre, because I feel like I've missed the whole elvish thing and elven thing, and I'd love to get into it. So if you have a favorite elvish book, pop it down below. All right, now the swimsuit round has been cancelled because of a little exposition we had last year, but I'm gonna ask you to swim in tea instead and tell me what was a book which you really enjoyed that had a terrible ending. Definitely A Curse So Dark and Lonely. That book was really good. So A Curse So Dark and Lonely has such a good and promising premise and is written really well for like 85% of the book, and then the last 15% you can see that she went, oh no, I want a sequel out of this, and just like stretched everything out for no reason, and like everything's a mystery. I hated the ending. I hated it. It was bad. Bad. Apparently, like, I have a lot of those to get off my chest. So The Bells, I really hated that ending. I guess I hate ambiguous endings because they don't feel like a win. But then again, if you compare that with the City of Bronze, City of Bronze, that had a really good ambiguous ending. Like, it was done really well, so I don't know, but I really did not enjoy The Bells ending. The Snow Gypsy had an ending, obviously spoilers, the Snow Gypsy had an ending where everything was la-da-da and happy again. I was just like, no. Like, everyone becomes a multi-millionaire success story. No, that's not real life. And then finally, I'm going to talk about a series where the series ending really blew it for me, and that was The Paper Magician. I loved the first book, the second book was okay, and the third book was absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Alrighty, now let's hear some good sides of your life. Which fictional characters do you wish had not died off? Okay, so I'm not going to give character names except for in Harry Potter because I don't want people to hate me, but Nevernight, the death in Nevernight with the falling death in Nevernight. I want to find J. Kristoff and I want to punch him because how dare he? This is a really weird one, but because if this death hadn't happened, the whole series wouldn't happen, but I wish that the husband in My Brother's Husband, I wish that those two gay guys had lived in Canada forever and that he had been able to take his husband to Japan with him. Unfortunately, obviously the whole series concept is based around the fact that this guy dies, but I'm just saying, I don't want people to die just so that their family can learn acceptance. And then finally, obviously in Harry Potter, Sirius Black and Severus Snape, both of which were, I mean, Sirius Black was proof that the old families could be good, and Severus Snape was proof that you can like do the right thing even though you're forced to do horrible things to do it. And I think that by killing both of them, or ambiguously killing Severus Snape.
Read the fanfiction, people.
How distracting is this for you guys, by the way? Because I might wear this again. I don't know. Leave me a comment down below if you don't want me to wear this again, because I think it's pretty. And also it cost me a lot of money. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you are enjoying this video. Alrighty, so now we want to know a little bit more about you. What are some of your bookish pet peeves, Cat Talks? Ooh, bookish pet peeves. Okay, so for bookish pet peeves, I absolutely despise cracked spines, books that have been dropped in water, dog-eared pages. Like, it's a library book, stop writing in the margins. I will find you. And then in terms of content, it's specifically in terms of the cover, I hate books that spoil the kind of like mystery or half of the mystery or the midpoint in either the title or the blurb. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Special shout out here to the Three Body Problem for doing that. Like, why? Why? All right, now let's see some of that angel side of you. What are some books that you have enjoyed this year that you feel like are underhyped? Ooh, underhyped books. I love underhyped, like I love shouting out underhyped books. So, The City and the City by China Miéville. I know China Miéville is a super successful literary author, but I feel like more fantasy lovers should read his stuff. That's so good. Right now, China Mieville is a cult author, and I want him to become like a normal person's author. Like, he's that good. KJ Charles's The Proper English is a lesbian love story set in the Victorian era, and I just adore it. It has the national championship lady shooter, for example, and she just falls in love with this girl, and then a murder happens, and it's just really, really well written, and I definitely recommend checking it out. I've hyped that up on this channel before. I've hyped all of them up on this channel before, let's face it. And then finally, I would definitely recommend checking out The Tethered Mage by Melissa Caruso. This is about I can actually like give a story about this one. So this is about a young girl. She's the heir of a very powerful regime, and she accidentally imprisons or enslaves a mage who has managed to live on the streets without being caught for a long time. She enslaves her, and then that kicks off discussions on slavery in the country, and then also this like helps them avoid a plot to kill some people and take over a country, and it's all very, very gripping. Alrighty, now this last question, this is the think of this one. What do you think about censorship and banning books? So I think cancel culture in all of its forms is really dumb. I think that, I talked with Words with S after she tagged me, and I kind of agree with her that children should be protected from books, but I don't think they should be banned from books. I think that books should come with a content warning, like in movies, so that parents know. The only reason that my parents found out I read smut was that one of the teachers borrowed my books and then was like, could you please talk to Catherine? These books are inappropriate for a 14-year-old. So I definitely recommend that, but I don't think that cancel culture is a good thing. I think in any form, so that includes government-sponsored cancel culture, where you actually ban the books from being sold, and on Twitter, where people are being like, you know, getting so much hate that they feel they have to cancel their books. Like, neither of those are okay. What am I trying to say? I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Is that a disclaimer? But what I'm saying is that white people should be allowed to write anything, the same as everyone else, and if they get it wrong, they should be told, but they don't have to be threatened. And the same with everyone. Yeah, there are lots of different slaveries, and if a Polish person is writing about wage slavery, that's going to have a very different connotation to a black person writing about American slavery. And I think at the moment, because America is so large, a lot of American culture gets twisted into Twitter culture and into cancel culture, but not everyone has the same history. So I think it's really important to boost voices that do good things, and that like whose messages you agree with or whose work that you really inspires you, but I don't think it's a good thing to do the opposite and to drown out and hate on people who wrote a book. Alrighty, everybody give a big hand for our latest contestant. That was Cat Talks, founder of Talking for Cats, a charity dedicated to helping cats say what they cannot say with their mouths and claws. Alrighty, and hang on, because just after this break, we will be having some lovely content from A Cup of Books, signing on there for all those cups big enough to hold a book. We have Beckel Panda, the UN advisory on pandas, and we have the marvelous list taker, Ashley from Ashley Lit Lists. All of those channels are linked down in the description down below if you want to check them out for their little bookish secrets, and we will be seeing you next time.